Hey folks, let me hit you with something wild right off the bat. What if I told you there's a 25-cent coin hiding in your couch cushions that could be worth a cool $1 million? Yep, you heard that right. 25 cents turning into 1 million. That's better than winning on a scratch-off ticket and you didn't even have to buy it. Today we're talking about the legendary 1967 no-mint Mark Washington quarter. It looks like your regular old quarter, might have even been passed over 100 times without a second glance. But this bad boy, under the right conditions, can rake in serious cash. We're talking about $1 million. For a quarter. A single coin. Stick around because I'm diving deep into how this humble coin became a treasure, how to tell if you've got one, why collectors are going bananas over it, and what this could mean for your pocket change. And I've even got a personal story involving this coin and a very confused gas station cashier. You don't want to miss that. Alright, let's jump in. So first off, let's talk about why the 1967 quarter stands out. Back in the mid-60s, the US Mint was trying to save money. The country had just yanked silver out of coins like dimes and quarters in 1965 because silver was getting pricey. Instead of silver, quarters were made with a copper-nickel blend. No big deal, right? Well, 1967 was a bit of a transitional year. No mint marks were used on coins from 1965 to 1967 because the mint didn't want people hoarding coins from certain locations. So every 1967 quarter looks like it came from nowhere. But here's the kicker. Even though mint marks were removed, some experimental planchets slipped through the cracks. That means some quarters struck in 1967 ended up with errors, oddities, and in extremely rare cases, a higher silver content. Yes, there are rumored 1967 quarters that were struck on leftover silver blanks. That's the unicorn. That's the coin worth up to $1 million. These are incredibly rare and valuable to collectors who go absolutely nuts over error coins. And now, let's pause here and make sure everyone's on the same page. If you're sitting there thinking, wait, did he say silver? Yup. Some of these coins were mistakenly made using silver planchets left over from the early 60s. You gotta love a good old government mix-up that makes you rich. So, how do you know if you've got one of these $1 million magic coins? It's not as simple as just looking at the date. There are a few key things you need to look for. A standard 1967 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. But if it was mistakenly struck on a silver planchet, it'll weigh closer to 6.25 grams. That tiny difference? That could mean thousands, or even $1 million, in your pocket. So get yourself a little digital scale. You can grab one online for under $20, and it might just be the best investment you ever make. This one's old school. Ever heard of the ping test? Silver coins have a higher pitched ring when tapped gently with another coin. Now I'm not saying to go around clinking coins like a treasure hunter at a Renaissance fair, but it's a fun little trick if you suspect something. Modern quarters have the telltale copper sandwich layer visible on the edge. But a silver quarter? Solid color, baby. Flip it on its side and check the edge. If it's all one shiny silver tone with no copper strip, you might be onto something. This part's a little technical, but serious collectors look at the coin's surface under magnification. If your quarter looks like it was struck better than usual, it might have come from a special die or be in proof-like condition, making it more desirable. Alright, so let's say you've got one that checks all the boxes. The next step is to get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These folks look at everything: condition, authenticity, strike quality, and slap a grade on it. If it comes back as a high-grade silver error coin, then congratulations, you just hit the coin jackpot. Worth face value unless it's in mint condition. Maybe $1 or $2 if it's pristine, but a rare error version struck on a silver planchet? Now we're talking tens of thousands. And if it's certified, in near perfect condition, and has all the hallmarks of a rare silver error coin? That's where we hit the big leagues. One particular coin made headlines when it went for over $1 million at auction. You heard that right. A single quarter, one coin, sold for $1 million. That's not coin dealer hype. That's auction house fact. Because it's rare. Because it's an error. And because collectors want what no one else has. It's like the Mona Lisa of quarters, if you will. but way shinier and fits in your pocket. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost gave one of these bad boys away at a gas station. So it's about 3 years ago. I'm digging through my change jar because, let's be honest, we all have one. Mine was a spaghetti sauce jar. Real classy. I pull out this beautiful 1967 quarter. Something about it looked different. It was shinier, heavier, and didn't have that copper line on the edge. I almost didn't notice it. I nearly used it to pay for a bag of beef jerky and a soda, but something stopped me. I don't know why. Maybe divine intervention. Maybe caffeine withdrawal. But I stuck it in my pocket and Googled it later at home. Long story short, I sent it off to get graded. It wasn't $1 million coin, sorry to kill the suspense, but it came back as a high-grade, rare strike, and I sold it for nearly $1,200. That's a lot of beef jerky, my friend. And ever since then, I've been hooked on checking my change like a hawk. Always check your quarters. You never know what treasure you've got sitting in an old jar or lying under the couch cushions. So there you have it, folks. The humble 1967 no mint mark Washington quarter. To most people, just a coin. But to those who know what to look for? It could be $1 million masterpiece. I mean, where else in life can you turn 25 cents into a fortune without even breaking a sweat? Now here's your homework. Go grab that change jar. Dump it out on the kitchen table. Get yourself a magnifying glass, maybe even a scale. Look for those signs, the weight, the edge, the shine. Because somewhere out there, in someone's pocket, is a 1967 quarter just waiting to be discovered. And hey, if you're serious about this coin hunting journey, you're gonna want to stick with me. I drop tips, coin values, and real strategies every week to help you uncover hidden treasures in everyday change. Hit that subscribe button, tap the bell so you don't miss a thing, and drop a comment if you've ever found a valuable coin. Or if you just love a good beef jerky story. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Happy hunting, and may your quarters be shiny and your pockets full. Hey folks, let me ask you something real quick. When's the last time you really looked at your spare change? No, seriously, think about it. You go to the store, grab a coffee, get a few coins back, and they go straight into a jar, right? Or worse, into the couch cushions, where they vanish into that dark, mysterious place with the TV remote and one missing sock. But what if I told you that one of those dusty little coins might just be worth a life-changing $1.1 million? That's right. $1.1 million. And we're not talking about some ancient Roman coin or a pirate's doubloon here. We're talking about a plain OL 1985 D Washington quarter. Yeah, the one with George looking like he's been sucking on a lemon. That guy. That quarter. Worth more than a house. In today's video, we're diving deep into this wild world of coin collecting. We're going to break down exactly why this quarter is so special, how to spot one, what makes it valuable, and of course, I'll share a funny personal story involving laundry, heartbreak, and, yes, quarters. So grab your coin jars, buckle up, and let's see if you're sitting on a secret fortune. Let's start with the basics. The 1985 D Washington quarter was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. Over 500 million of them were struck. That's $500 million with a B. So on the surface, this coin doesn't exactly scream rare treasure, right? Out of those hundreds of millions of coins, a tiny handful were struck with such unusual characteristics, minting errors, freaks of nature, or just good old-fashioned government oopsies, that they'd become the holy grail for collectors. And one of those super rare varieties recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.10 million. So what makes that particular 1985 D quarter different from the rest? Let's break it down. There are a few reasons this coin is so insanely valuable. We're talking double dies, off-center strikes, or even coins that were accidentally struck on planchets meant for another denomination. Imagine a quarter printed on a nickel blank. Mind blown, collectors love errors. The rarer and weirder, the better. This $1 million quarter was graded as MS68+. That's mint state, baby. It's as close to flawless as a coin can get. No scratches, no dings, no grandma chewing gum near it. Now, out of $500 million coins, finding a perfectly struck 1985 D quarter that has survived nearly 40 years without even a sneeze landing on it, that's like finding a clean sock in a teenager's room. It just doesn't happen, and when it does happen, you better believe collectors go wild. This specific quarter had a well-documented history of ownership, certification by top grading companies, and it hit the auction block at the perfect time when the coin market was hotter than a jalapeno in July. Alright, here's where you come in. Because maybe, just maybe, you've got one of these bad boys sitting in a piggy bank. To flip the coin. Does it have the D mint mark right behind Washington's ponytail? Good. That's Denver. Check for any weirdness. Double images? Thick letters? Off-center design? Looks like someone messed up on the job? Jackpot. Use a magnifying glass. Seriously. You're looking for the tiniest clues that set this apart from your run-of-the-mill quarter. If it looks promising, don't spend it. I repeat, do not spend it. Instead, take it to a coin dealer or submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC, and don't clean it. I don't care if it's crustier than a gas station biscuit, leave it alone. Cleaning a valuable coin is like washing a signed Babe Ruth baseball with a Brillo pad. Just don't. A couple years back, I was doing laundry. You know, that boring grown-up chore where you pull mysterious things out of your pockets like gum wrappers, receipts, and occasionally, snack crumbs. I had a few coins jingling in my jeans, nothing special, or so I thought till I tossed them on the dryer, turned around, and bam, my clumsy self knocked them all into the narrow abyss behind the dryer. Sure. But I'm built like a quarterback and that gap is made for toothpicks. I got my hand stuck, bumped my head on the shelf above, and let out a sound that made the dog run. Fast forward a week, and I finally moved the dryer. There was the quarter. All scratched up now. I took it to a coin guy out of curiosity. He looked at it, squinted, and said, "You know what? That could have been worth some serious money. Don't ignore your pocket change, and treat your quarters like tiny treasure maps. That old 1985 D quarter might just be the key to early retirement, with a perfect storm of rarity, errors, and flawless condition. One of these babies fetched $1.1 million on the market. Look closely. Flip every quarter you get. And if you spot something weird or shiny or just different, don't spend it. Investigate it. Get it checked, and hey, even if you don't find $1 million coin, you'll still come out ahead. You'll learn a cool hobby, appreciate a piece of history, and who knows, you might just become the go-to coin expert in your family. Alright, now if you enjoyed this wild journey through pocket change and $1 million mistakes, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join our community of fellow coin hunters, history nerds, and treasure seekers. Every week, we bring you new stories, crazy finds, and tips to help you uncover valuable coins hiding in plain sight. So check your pockets, raid your couch cushions, and keep your eyes peeled, because the next millionaire might just be you. Hey folks, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your spare change? I mean, really looked at it? Not just dumped it in the cup holder of your car or that mysterious jar next to your washing machine that's been collecting dust since the Bush administration. Well, today you're gonna wish you'd been paying attention, because hiding in plain sight could be a coin that looks like pocket lint to most people, but is worth $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.2 million. For a quarter. That's 25 cents that could cover your mortgage, pay off your car, send your kids to college, and still leave enough left over for a lifetime supply of pizza and dad jokes. Today, we're talking about the legendary 1983 P. Washington quarter, a coin that looks so ordinary, but packs a punch harder than your Uncle Larry at a wedding buffet. So buckle up, grab your coin jars, and maybe even check behind your couch cushions. Let's get into the story of this $1 million beauty. 1983. A simpler time. Gas was cheap, hair was big, and the only TikTok anyone knew was the sound of the clock while waiting for your microwave dinner. And in the middle of all this neon-colored chaos, the Philadelphia Mint struck millions, and I mean millions, of Washington quarters. In fact, over 673 million of them. So how on earth does one of these everyday coins end up being worth more than most people's houses? Let's talk mint marks. That little P on the front of the coin? That tells us it came from Philadelphia. Normally, that wouldn't mean much. But in 1983, the Philly Mint was pumping out coins fast and furious to keep up with demand. Because of this rush job, quality control wasn't exactly a top priority. That's where errors slipped through the cracks. And baby, those errors are where the money's at now. The $1.2 million 1983 P quarter we're talking about isn't your run-of-the-mill coin. This one has something special. We're talking a rare mint error, specifically, a coin that was struck on the wrong metal planchet, which is just a fancy way of saying it was made from the wrong kind of metal. Instead of the typical copper-nickel blend used in quarters, this rare beauty was struck on a copper penny planchet. That gives it a reddish hue and makes it stand out like a hot dog at a vegan picnic. On top of that, the coin is in nearly perfect condition. We're talking MS67+, which is basically coin nerd speak for this thing is flawless, rare mint error plus pristine condition, and you've got a collector's dream. And that's exactly why one of these quarters was recently valued at $1.2 million. Now let me share a personal story with you. Because this kind of stuff hits close to home. About 5 years ago, I was rummaging through my junk drawer, the drawer that holds expired coupons, dead batteries, a tape measure that doesn't retract anymore, and about 6 random coins. I pulled out this crusty old quarter. Didn't think much of it. I was gonna use it to scratch a lottery ticket, but something about it looked off. It had this odd tint, and the rim felt different. So I did what any sane person would do. I googled it. Next thing you know, I'm deep into forums with usernames like CoinHunter69 and SilverStackerDad. I post a photo, and within 15 minutes, I've got people mailing me asking if I'd sell it. Now, it wasn't the $1.2 million 1983p quarter, but it turned out to be worth about $400. And I had almost used it to scratch off a losing lottery ticket. Go figure. Alright, let's break this down so you can find one of these bad boys yourself. Date: it must say 1983 and have a little P under Washington's head. Does it have a weird coppery or reddish tone? That's a good sign. Rim: check the edge of the coin. If it doesn't look like a standard quarter or has an unusual width, that might be the error. Talking. A normal quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. If yours is lighter, closer to 3 grams, bingo, it may have been struck on a penny planchet. Clean? No scratches or nicks? That boosts the value big time. If you find something that checks those boxes, get it looked at by a professional grader. That could be your ticket to six-figure riches. Now you might be wondering, okay, but why would someone pay over $1 million for this thing? The coin world is full of people with deep pockets who are constantly on the hunt for the rarest, weirdest, and most flawless coins out there. This 1983p error coin is like the unicorn of modern quarters. It's got the error. It's got the condition. And most importantly, it's one of only a few known examples in the world. It's the perfect storm. Rarity, error, condition, demand. Boom, $1.2 million. Yours, your mom's, your grandma's, that one in the office break room. I've seen people dump old coin collections for pennies. Sometimes people don't know what they've got. Seriously, check every quarter. Especially the ones from the 80s. It's like metal detecting without having to dig through the sand. Alright, coin fam, let's wrap this up. The 1983p Washington quarter might look like just another piece of lunch money, but if it's got that rare mint error and it's in tip-top condition, it could be worth $1.2 million. So next time you're paying for coffee or digging through the laundry for quarters, give those coins a second look. You never know. You might be holding the coin that changes your life. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into coin treasure hunting, hit that subscribe button, slap the like, and ring that notification bell like it owes you money. We've got more hot coin tips, stories, and real strategies coming your way that could turn your spare change into a full-blown fortune. Thanks for watching, happy hunting, and remember, every coin has a story. Yours might just be worth $1 million. Hey there folks, and welcome back to the channel that turns pocket change into gold mines. Now let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at your change before tossing it in the jar on your dresser? Be honest. Most of us treat coins like they're just the leftovers of real money. Quarters for vending machines, dimes for parking meters, nickels for, honestly I don't even know what nickels are for anymore. But what if I told you one little quarter sitting quietly in your pocket right now is worth $1.3 million? No, I haven't lost my mind. I'm talking about a very specific coin. The 2017 Piedmont Ozark National Scenic Riverways Quarter. Yep. That little piece of metal could pay off your house, your mom's house, and still have enough left to buy a solid gold grill if that's your thing. So grab your coffee, your magnifying glass, and maybe even your shoebox of old coins from the attic. Today we're diving deep into the wild world of the 2017 Ozark Quarter and why it's worth more than some people's entire retirement account. Stick around, because this one's got twists, turns, and a little story from yours truly about how I almost threw away a fortune, alright? The 2017 Ozark Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters series. This series ran from 2010 to 2021 and honored national parks and historic sites from each state. In 2017, the state of Missouri got its moment with a beautifully detailed coin celebrating the Ozark National Scenic Riverways. Now that's a mouthful, so we're just gonna call it the Ozark Quarter. On the front side, you've got George Washington's face. Business as usual. On the reverse, you see a scene from Alley Mill, a historic grist mill on the Jacks Fork River in the Ozarks. It's actually a gorgeous coin design. But it's not just about the design. It's the mint mark and the error that makes this coin hit that seven-figure jackpot. The mint mark P stands for Philadelphia. Now, millions of these coins were made at the Philly Mint, so you're probably thinking, well, great, if millions exist, mine's probably worth 25 cents. Hold your horses. Here's the catch. There are a few rare examples from that 2017 P Mint batch that have very unique and dramatic minting errors. We're talking about doubled dies, off-center strikes, and even a few mysterious planchet errors that make these coins stand out big time. One in particular had a dramatic die clash, where the front and back designs smashed into each other in the wrong way, making George's face look like it's haunted. Spooky. And profitable. One specific coin was discovered with a perfect storm of errors. Not just one, not two, but a combination of multiple high-grade minting flaws that made it a true one-of-a-kind. This thing got certified by the pros, graded in mint state, and eventually auctioned off to a private collector for $1.3 million. That's right. A regular quarter, mass-produced like the rest, but with one bad day at the mint turned into a millionaire maker. Okay, here's where it gets personal. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my truck, the one with the dented fender and glove box full of fast food napkins, and I found a stack of quarters wedged between the seats. I was about to throw them in the coin jar when I noticed one looked a little different. Now, I didn't think much of it. I put it aside, and a couple weeks later, while watching a video just like this one, I saw the same coin pop up on screen. Same year. Same mint mark. I nearly choked on my soda. I dug it out, took it to a local coin dealer just to see, and while it wasn't worth $1 million, it turned out to be a rare variety worth over $800. $800. From between my truck seats. Since then, I check every coin that crosses my path. Grocery stores, drive-thrus, laundry machines. I'm like a treasure hunter with no map. Look closely for doubling on the letters, especially E pluribus unum or United States of America. Use a magnifying glass. It'll make you feel like Sherlock Holmes and your grandma at the same time. Check for off-center strikes where part of the design is pushed too far to one side. Look for any weird marks or ghost images of the design on the opposite side. That's a sign of a die clash. If your coin is in pristine condition, no scratches, shiny like it just came out the mint, it could be MS grade, and that boosts value like crazy. Yet if you think your coin is something special, get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A high-grade coin with the right error can fetch ridiculous money at auction. But be careful, plenty of fakes and clean coins are out there. Don't try scrubbing it with toothpaste. That's a good way to turn a $1,000 coin into 25 cents, and a sad story, not necessarily. These coins still pop up in circulation. Roll hunting is a great strategy. Head to your local bank, ask for quarter rolls, and go through them one by one. You'd be surprised what you can find. Some people have found rare quarters while doing laundry. Others while counting tips from pizza delivery. I even heard of a guy who found one stuck in the lining of his car trunk. Alright folks, if you stuck with me through this entire ride, give yourself a high five. You now know more about the 2017 P Mint Ozark Quarter than 99% of people out there. That little coin could be hiding in your pocket, your couch, or your glove box just waiting to be discovered. So the next time someone says it's just a quarter, smile, nod, and silently think, that quarter might just pay off my mortgage. And hey, if you found this video helpful or you just enjoy learning how to turn spare change into life-changing money, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button and ring the little bell so you never miss another hidden gem. I've got tons more videos on coins worth thousands, even millions, sitting in everyday places. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin or if you're just getting into coin hunting. I love hearing your stories. And who knows, maybe your story will be the next feature on this channel. Alright folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever dropped a quarter on the ground, heard it clink, and just walked away like it's no big deal? Yeah. Well, imagine if that little silver disc was worth more than your car. Actually, forget the car, more than your house, your neighbor's house, and maybe even your ex's house if they live modestly today. We're talking about one sneaky little coin that might be hiding right under your couch cushions. It's the 2000 South Carolina State Quarter, and believe it or not, one of these shiny babies is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. That's right, million. With an M. So don't go anywhere. We're about to dive into why this coin is making collectors go bananas, what makes it so special, and how you might just have one in your possession without even knowing it. And stick around, because I'll tell you a personal story involving this coin, a flea market, and a really confused old man. Trust me, it's worth it. Alright, let's rewind to the year 2000. We were partying like it's 1999, Y2K panic had just faded, and the US Mint had rolled out one of the most ambitious and brilliant marketing strategies ever, the 50 state quarters program. Each year, 5 new state quarters were released in the order the states joined the Union. South Carolina's quarter came out in 2000, and it featured a design showcasing the palmetto tree, the state bird, Carolina wren, and the state flower, yellow jessamine. Basically, it was the ultimate state pride trifecta. Now, the Denver Mint, which is where the D Mint mark comes in, was one of the places churning these babies out. Millions were made. So what the heck makes one of them worth $1.4 million? Here's where it gets spicy. Most of the 2000 South Carolina quarters are worth exactly what you think, 25 cents. But one rare variation, a true minting anomaly, is a collector's dream come true. This particular quarter has a combination of unusual traits, struck on the wrong planchet. Some of these quarters were accidentally struck on planchets meant for other denominations or even foreign coins. That's like putting ketchup on ice cream. Wrong, but fascinating. Double die obverse. That's a fancy way of saying the front of the coin looks like it had a few too many cups of coffee and started twitching. Letters and numbers appear slightly doubled. It's like the coin had an echo. Imagine the coin looking like someone printed it while they were falling off a chair. That kind of misalignment turns regular into rare. This particular gem was preserved better than Grandma's china. It got graded as MS69 by PCGS, which is just one step away from perfection. That's like getting an A++ in coin world. This one-of-a-kind South Carolina quarter, with all its quirks and pristine condition, fetched an incredible $1.4 million at auction. That's more than most of us make in a decade, unless you're Elon Musk, and in that case, thanks for watching, sir. Let's say you're now staring at a jar of quarters like a treasure hunter sizing up a pirate's loot. Good. That's the spirit. He flipped the coin and checked for the D Mint mark just beside Washington's ponytail. Examine the details with a magnifying glass or even your phone camera zoomed all the way in. Look for doubling on the text or numbers, especially around the word liberty and the date 2000. Check if the design is off-center or crooked. Finally, is it in really crisp, clean condition? No scratches, nicks, or signs it's been through the spin cycle. If you think you've hit the jackpot, don't just go pawn it at the nearest shop. Get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. Trust me, that's the difference between someone offering you lunch money and someone cutting you a check that'll pay off your mortgage. Alright, let me tell you about the time I almost scored big with this exact coin. I was at a flea market a few years ago, hunting for some vinyl records and maybe a good used tool set, because hey, I'm a grown man, and you can never have too many tools, even if you never use them. There was this old guy with a folding table full of coins. I stopped, started browsing, and saw a South Carolina quarter with a D Mint mark in a dusty little box labeled 25 cents, pick any. My coin sense started tingling. I picked it up, looked at it, and noticed the strike looked a little off. My heart did that thing where it skips like it's dancing salsa. I was ready to pay the man and get it graded, but right as I handed over the quarter, the guy looks at me, squints, and says, I was just kidding about that price. That one ain't for sale. He pulled it back like he knew what he had done. I laughed awkwardly, trying not to look disappointed, and he just smiled and said, "You gotta wake up earlier than that, son." Still haunts me to this day. But hey, that's the thrill of coin hunting. You win some, you lose some, and sometimes you walk away with a good story and a bruised ego. So there you have it. The 2000 South Carolina quarter, normally just your everyday pocket change, has a secret identity that's worth a fortune if the stars align just right. From rare minting errors to pristine conditions, this coin has become the unicorn of state quarters. You might have one lying around your house, tucked away in a drawer, hiding in a cup holder, or jingling in the depths of your laundry machine. So go check. Seriously. Pause this video, grab your change jar, and look for that D-mint mark, and hey, if you find something weird, don't toss it aside. Do your homework. You could be one coin away from changing your life now. If you enjoyed this video, had a good laugh, and maybe learned something new, hit that subscribe button like you're hitting a slot machine. I've got tons more coin secrets, rare finds, and hilarious stories coming your way. And I'll teach you how to turn pocket change into a potential goldmine without wearing a monocle or saying the word numismatics like a fancy professor. So subscribe, share this with your coin hunting buddies, and leave a comment if you've ever had a close encounter with a valuable coin. Until next time, keep your eyes sharp and your quarters cleaner than your conscience after Sunday dinner.